Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show. Before the free show. And I sit across from a sidekick. A fortune teller. A foreshadower, if you will.
Look. Did I predict the winner of the Masters on Friday? Did I predict that Hideki Matsuyama would win the Masters? Yes.
You did.
Yes. Am I the preeminent golf expert? I would say at least on the internet and maybe in the world.
Okay.
That's not for me to say.
Yeah.
That's not for me to say. All I'm saying is there's a lot of golf experts out there. Let me put some air quotes on that. Some golf experts out there who didn't pick Hideki Matsuyama to win the Masters.
Yeah.
But one person did.
Uh-huh.
And that person just can't stress that enough is me.
As he looked at his computer for possibly like the most difficult name to say and then said, "Yep. He's in 7th place. I can do that."
No, I went through my deep analysis of strokes gained.
Uh-huh.
Of
strokes gained.
All the deep analytics
inside golf.
Yeah.
You went very inside golf.
Yeah, greens in regulation.
Oh, okay, there's a term.
Right? Fairways hit.
Okay. Did you learn all these yesterday when you watched the Masters?
No, I didn't watch the Masters. I mean, I watched the last hole. And I can't stress this enough, the guy that I picked to win the Masters won the Masters.
Hey, so. I gave you credit. Like I publicly gave you credit on social media, so don't get used to it. But well done on this one. Blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then, I guess.
Does it feel good to be a winner? Yeah, it does. It does.
I never puked my heart out.
And now, a tale of grace under pressure. So this weekend, it was Hank's friend Ella's 2nd birthday.
Happy birthday, Ella.
Happy birthday, Ella. Hank's friend Ella is Hank's friend in the forced friendship way.
Yes.
Because
parents are
Hank's
friends.
Parents are our friends.
Uh-huh.
And so
obviously
they're going to be friends.
Yeah.
Ella turned 2. Minnie Mouse themed birthday party.
Oh, beautiful.
Our first social engagement of any sort of note, at least since like September. Okay?
Yeah.
And stay in the house. For reasons I'm sure you can understand. So, we're all fired up. Hank got all dressed up. We all got dressed up. And by got dressed up, I mean we put on pants.
Yeah.
Got in the car, about a 40-minute drive.
Okay.
To Ella's house. We get there and we see Hank's other friend,
oh.
Addie. Another forced friend.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
But Hank's, like, rolling in friends. We get it.
Hank's thinking, like,
Mr. Popular.
All right, guys, we're going to go have some fun.
Yeah, we can do
Get
this.
out.
Birthday shenanigans.
Go to grab him from the car. Start unbuckling his car seat. And that's when Hank Ralphs all over himself.
Oh, no.
I mean the entirety of breakfast. All of it. Everything.
Oh, no.
Just everything. All over him, into the car seat, all that fun stuff.
No.
Okay? Ralph's all over himself. And all over his cute outfit, all over everything, right?
Hank.
We had some paper towels. He just got car sick. Got some paper towels, had some wet wipes, cleaned them up, stuff like that as best we could. So now we get to the grace under pressure part.
Real fast, was there a change of clothes in the car?
There was not. There was not. Because, A, Hank is now old enough that like he's not having like blowouts of his diaper.
Right.
So like, you know, when you're 3 months old, you carry 3 sets of clothes around everywhere you go.
Yeah.
He's 2 now. He's an older kid. An old man. And the other part is that we're out of practice. We haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? Like we haven't gone.
Like he's allowed to Ralph all over himself in the house.
Like there's just not. Yeah. Like why would we're just out of practice? We didn't bring any clothes. So I go to Ella's dad and I go, "Where's the nearest place that I can find some clothes for Hank.
Mm-hmm.
Because, by the way, Hank's the only boy at this party.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? All girls and Hank. Okay? He goes, well, there's a Walmart down the street. Now, let me set the stage. Let me give you a little bit of framing device for this story.
Okay.
You've met my wife.
Yes, my wife.
You would say, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Would you say that my wife is a woman of discerning taste?
Walmart doesn't strike me as her.
Would you say that she's
Her
somebody
select.
who has some style?
Yes.
Would you say that she's somebody who has some standards for how she likes to look?
Yes.
And how she likes her family to look, her husband notwithstanding?
Yes.
Because she can't control what I wear on the air.
Right.
So, now, in a time crunch, as quickly as possible, I have to go to Walmart and find an outfit that is
up to standard.
That is up to my wife's standard for a party that we haven't been to a social occasion in a year.
Yeah, this was like
okay?
the groundbreaking.
This is the 18th green of the Masters. Okay?
You get one pass at saying something like that today.
And guess who came through?
Ah, you did it.
This guy. Because
she liked
I
it.
went and I found a shirt and I found some shorts and I bought them and I made sure to keep the receipt and I brought them back to the house and I showed my wife and she goes, "Oh, that's really cute."
Yes, and then the heavens just sang.
And let me tell you guys, that's going on my dad highlight reel. That is a all-timer. I was flexing. I was, yes. Oh, man. Because I could have shown up.
Oh,
and by the way, you know how many Rangers t-shirts I passed?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know how many dumb Pete the Cat shirts I passed? Hundreds. But instead, I found
you went in the depths.
I found an outfit that was up to my wife's standards.
At Walmart, nonetheless.
At Walmart, under time pressure.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to be honest. That is the biggest win of my dad career.
Yeah.
That's the biggest win of my dad career.
Yeah, you get a gold star for that.
That's a 15 over a 2.
Yeah.
Is what that is. That is a
I would agree. I think
huge
the
upset.
the time crunch definitely does something.
Grace under pressure, people. All right, hit the theme expo. Let's go! Free money! Yes, yo! From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a show on the internet. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live at TexasFootball.com or on Facebook or on
YouTube.
Twitch or YouTube. Or you're listening to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making it sound good. She's the president of the Hideki Matsuyama fan club. She is the Duchess of the Dorks. She is Ashley Pickle. Hello, Ashley Pickle.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Did you have a good weekend?
I did.
Good.
A little summer, but it was good.
What a you know. That seems like a good problem.
That is
you know what I mean?
Fantastic problem.
I was gonna say.
The weather this entire weekend was quite choice.
Friday
was iffy, but Saturday and Sunday.
Yes.
Ideal.
Oh boy, I need to do this stuff. Hold on, let me find this. Okay, today is Monday, April 12th,
Fact.
2021.
Fact.
It is 227 days until Thanksgiving. Today is episode 1144. 1144. I did not do this before the show. This is the Mitch Williams episode. Wild thing. On today's show, my friends, we got some headlines from across the state including a heartbreaker for one FCS team means elation for another FCS team. We'll talk about that. And then back half of the show, 12:15, we're going to be joined by the new head coach of the Midland Bulldogs. Coach Thad Fortune will join us, moving over from his spot as the offensive coordinator at Odessa Permian. We'll talk all about what all that means for Coach Fortune coming up here at the back half of the program if you stay with us. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was Tony Blaylock, Rob Hadaway, Miss Terry Adams, and Daniel Agnew. Welcome in, fellas and lady fella. Also, real fast, just to throw this out there, the Midland logo with the bulldog on it is one of the best bulldog logos that I've seen.
It's a very good logo.
It'll be on the full screen graphic, but like when it first pops up, admire it for a minute.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. I will. That's fine. Let's get to some headlines. We got to be quick here, only because I promised Coach Thad Fortune, who will join us at the back half of the program, that we would get him out of there at 12:25. He's got a thing at 12:30. So
nice.
I promised him. So
we got to stay on time.
I think he's got class, which is like much more important than talking to us jabrones.
Is it?
So a few headlines from across the state. Let's talk first of all about what happened on the football field this weekend, which is that a huge a lot of shakeup in the Southland Conference. So coming into this week, we were looking at the possibility of a collision course next week between number 14 Incarnate Word and number 5 Sam Houston. It seemed like it was going to come down to those two teams, end of the season, duking it out.
Rock fight.
Now the Cardinals, now Incarnate Word does have a loss, I believe, and so as a result, they would need to beat Sam Houston State to win a share of the Southland Conference title. So Sam Houston State took care of their business. They beat McNeese, clinched at least a share of the title with the 27-13 win over McNeese. Looked very good doing it. Defense I thought was very, very, very good. And overall, Eric Schmidt was solid, and this was a team that they went out there and they took care of business. Then there was Incarnate Word, and Incarnate Word took on Northwestern State, and everything looked to be going great. Cam Ward found Darian Chafin for a 34-yard touchdown with 55 seconds left, and things were looking very, very good. They took a 47-46 lead. Everything's looking good. And that is when Northwestern State went 58 yards in 4 plays and kicked a last-second 32-yard field goal and took down Incarnate Word 49-47. As a result, Sam Houston State has clinched the Southland Conference title. They are
congratulations.
They are in the FCS. They are in the FCS playoffs. It kind of takes a little bit of sting out of next week's game. That I was really looking forward to. That was gonna be okay, look, basically a playoff spot's on the line.
Right.
Now, we talk about at-large bids and stuff, but a guaranteed bid was on the line. It was gonna be a win and in type game.
Right.
But instead, Northwestern State rips the heart out of Incarnate Word. And look, Incarnate Word can still get in the playoffs. They still get in the FCS playoffs.
They're going to need that win, though.
They really got to beat Sam Houston.
Right.
If they lose Sam Houston, they're not going to get in the playoffs. If they beat Sam Houston, it's going to give the committee a lot to think about because then they would have knocked off what was the number 5 team in the country.
And a team that's already guaranteed to be in the playoffs.
So for Sam Houston, it was all sunshine and daffodils. For Incarnate Word, it was a heartbreak city. A few other news and notes from the state across the state. Edgewood is now looking for a new head coach as Kevin Bachtel is going to be leaving his spot at Edgewood to become his brother's defensive coordinator, Howard Payne. Howard Payne is Jason Bachtel is the head coach at Howard Payne. He is now hiring his brother, Kevin Bachtel, to go be the defensive coordinator at Howard Payne. So Edgewood is now open. Elsewhere, there's a couple of news and notes. If you go to texasfootball.com, you'll find This Week in Texas High School Football from our friend Matt Stepp. A few other things to keep an eye on. There is a big, I think there's a pretty big opening that may be flying under people's radar out east, and that is Henderson. Henderson has reassigned Coach Phil Castles after 8 seasons. Went 62-33 in 8 seasons, 3 trips to the regional finals. Last year was disappointment.
Yeah.
3-6, missed the playoffs for the first time since 2015. But this is a guy who's coached a lot of places in East Texas: Elysian Fields, Chapel Hill, Corsicana, and then at Henderson. And now you take a look at Henderson. I think that's a really attractive job.
Oh, yeah.
And especially now, part of it is you are going to be out in East Texas, and you're in Division I, which means that you're dealing with Carthage. But at the same time, Henderson's a really good job.
Yeah.
And one that I would expect to have a good number of applicants for that job. So Henderson is open. That's going to be one. It's going to be interesting. Also out in East Texas, same district, 9-4 Division I, Kilgore's looking for a new head coach. Mike Wood is going to move only into an athletic director position. He's going to leave as head coach not leave. He's going to be now just the athletic director instead of head football coach and athletic director. Led into a state title game back in 2013. If you remember, that was the Carthage versus Kilgore game. 83-53. He's had a fantastic year there. They went 10-4, went all the way to the regional final before losing to Lindale. This is a very, again, 2 spots there in 9-4A Division I. I think I said Carthage is Division I.
Yeah.
Division II. Yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
was just fixing to say, Steph was like, hey, 32, and I was like, we're so used to
I'm just so used to it.
It completely, you said it, and I was like, yeah.
No.
And then I thought about it, and I was like,
sorry.
no, that's not right.
The coffee hasn't kicked in yet. Yeah, it has not clicked with me. Yeah, they're Division II, because it said they lost to Lindale. I was like, Lindale didn't play Carthage. But yeah, Kilgore and Henderson are 2 pretty good openings there. Out there in East Texas. Obviously, they're disparate situations in that Mike Wood's going to be doing the hiring, or at least going to have a good say in who they hire. Whereas Henderson seems like it's going to be more wide open. So it's going to be interesting to see there. A small school retirement of note is Brent Cornegi, the head coach at George West, has announced his retirement. He was the 18 years as a head coach, most recently at George West. 124-79 in his career. Down there in South Texas, George West is a good job. That's a good job, and that's one that I would want to keep an eye on. So keep an eye on that. George West is now open. South Grand Prairie in the DFW Metroplex has landed their coach. And they've stayed pretty local, and this is a nice get for them. They are hiring Laban DeLay from Arlington Lamar. Coach DeLay has a history at South Grand Prairie. He was an assistant under Coach Brent Whitson there at South Grand Prairie for a handful of years, 7-8 years.
Yeah.
And Coach Whitson left to go be the new head coach at Denison, which opened up South Grand Prairie. And so Laban DeLay announced on Tuesday that he is going to become the new head coach there at South Grand Prairie. A pretty good big get for them. And Arlington Lamar is a very interesting position. And suddenly, Arlington Lamar, of course, is a big time program there in Arlington ISD. And suddenly, Arlington ISD has 2 openings.
Yep.
They've got Arlington Bowie and they've got Arlington Lamar. So they just filled Bowie. What's that?
Where did Coach
Diarman go? You're gonna need to give me a second while I go look that up.
Yeah. Because that was one of them that we didn't talk about much. He went
he went to Joshua.
That's right. I was fixing to say it's been a very
Bowie
DFW little circle going on in Arlington now.
Bowie hires Joseph Sam from Fort Bend Hightower, and they just made that hire about a month ago. So this is Arlington, which has always kind of Arlington, I think, kind of prides themselves on stability in the coaching ranks. For them to have 2 changes in one offseason is rather striking.
Yeah.
It's rather striking. I mean, because you think about guys.
Coach Peach has been there forever.
Yeah. I mean, and you think about, a guy like Bob Wager. Like, you go to a job in Arlington ISD, and you're like, okay, I'm here.
Yep.
Like they don't like they are they
They're in there for the long haul.
They let them cook, and
Yeah.
so to have two changes there in one offseason is rather interesting. So of course you can find all the updates at TexasFootball.com for the latest in news and notes. I would be remiss, by the way. I hate to end on a sad note, but very sad news this week from Lancaster. As Tony Evans, a player who had signed with Wyoming just recently, was shot and killed at a Dallas hotel this weekend. And so very sad news coming out of Dallas today as Tony Evans, the Lancaster senior, was fatally shot over near Love Field in DFW. And so certainly thinking about the Lancaster family and of course, the Evans family there. Very sad news there. I hate to end headlines on a downer, but it would be remiss if we did not mention that. So we are Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. TexasFootball.com is where you can find complete coverage of high school football, college football, and recruiting all across the Lone Star State. I want to invite you to become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider, TexasFootball.com/subscribe. It's our subscription package. If you want the 2021 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football coming out in June, if you want it mailed to you before it hits newsstands, become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider at TexasFootball.com/subscribe. That's TexasFootball.com/subscribe to become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider. Pickle, let's go to the hotline. And let's bring in the new head coach of the Midland Bulldogs. We are joined by Coach Thad Fortune. Coach, how are you?
Hey, doing well. Thanks for having me on.
How are things in the beautiful Permian Basin?
Hey, it's an appreciated beauty, and it's going good. A little normal, not too breezy, but it's for sure not calm. But it's going good, and kids are working hard. So all is well out west.
Well, I want to ask you about your move. You're leaving your position there as the offensive coordinator there at Odessa Permian to go take over as the head coach at Midland. You know, I watched the press conference with you guys and you being announced as the head coach, and I heard a lot about how you were such a good fit for this job. But I kind of want to flip that on its head, and I want to ask why this job was such a good fit for you. What was it about this job that drew you to it?
Well, I think a lot of things. I think just, being in the district the past 7 years, I was obviously familiar, so to speak, with the program. I always had great respect for Midland, how they were really a tough out for us at Permian. I thought the kids played hard, and they always had good-looking kids. So I knew it's a proud program, and I was excited about that. I think anytime, and just frankly, I have lived in Midland the past 7 years, and so just the opportunity in this business to get your first head coaching job and to not have to pack up and move was huge for myself and my family, and also just being so familiar with Coach Felt, who's the executive director of athletics here at Midland ISD. He's the one who hired me at Permian back in the spring of 14, and so gave me the biggest break of my career back then. And so just knowing we have such a good relationship, I learned so much working for him at Permian that it was when this came open and I started pursuing it and they were interested as well, it was a no-brainer for me.
You're taking over a program there. I think people know Midland as a proud program with a lot of history, but the past couple of years I don't think have been particularly kind to the Bulldogs. Program maybe in need of a jolt. I'm interested when you talked with your players for the first time and addressed them as the head coach. What was your message to them?
We really talk about three things, and I started talking about it on day one, and I don't know when I'll stop because I think there are things that'll make us a better football team and make us better individuals. But we talk about being tough, and that may be the most thrown around word in football, and I understand that. But we talk about being mentally tough and physically tough and just the process to get there. And so I try to give them opportunities to become tougher physically and mentally, and we try to work on that every day. We talk about having an edge about us and playing with edge. And, I use the analogy of that life, like you're going to slice through life somehow. And if your edge is sharp, you're going to make the things around you better and you're not going to destroy a lot of stuff. But if your edge is rough and rusty, You're not going to be fun to be around, and you're not going to be productive. And then lastly, we want to have guts and just play hard, do hard things. I think I think our culture, and probably cultures, have always been in need of young men to do hard things, and I think that's certainly the case now. So I started talking about that on day one, and we talk about it every day. I don't think there's the secret sauce is you just got to work, and you got to believe, and then play hard, and we do all these things, and just to give ourselves a chance. I think you can have the greatest off season and the greatest pep talks in the world. You still got to go out and make calls, and the kids have to make plays on Friday night. So we're just trying to do as much as possible to give ourselves a chance, and then we've got to do it.
Talking with Thad Fortune, the new head coach of the Midland Bulldogs here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Coach, at Permian, you guys were running the veer. You guys were running the old option, and I know you picked that up from, I guess, call him your boss, Coach Felt out there. Is that something you guys are going to use there at Midland? And then I guess kind of a follow-up to that is how do you get guys to buy in on that system, which can't, it's not like they're watching on the NFL. You watch college football on Saturdays. Not a ton of teams running an offense like that. How do you get kids to buy in on something like that?
Right. No, I think just for starters, in the last 7 years at Permian, we were 19-2 and scored a whole bunch of points, and I mean 19-2 versus the Basin teams out here. So it's just had a lot of success. I think what I've found in the last, as I've dove into this, is that as a law, the nature of humans is that they'd rather fail conventionally than succeed unconventionally. And so I honestly think this too. I don't think kids are quite as worried about it as we think. Is they want to be coached and they want to be told what to do. And at the end of the day, they want to win. And they want to have success. And so I don't have a presentation to why we do what we do. And this is what you need to sign here and do it. I think it gives us a great chance to win. I think there's a lot of good ways to win. I've got to do what I know and what I feel comfortable with, what I feel like I am as close to being an expert in as possible. And at the end of the day, it really ultimately comes down to how you do what you do. And that's for any walk of life, and that's no different than how you want to move the ball offensively. It is so much based on how you do it, more so than what it is, that I think that's easy to lose. And it's different, and I don't try to say it's not, or it's I think it has, like I said, I think it has shown to be really effective. And we had some great football players at Permian, there's no doubt. And I think it's been a lot of fun to watch, and these kids have done a great job adapting, and there'll be some learning curves, no doubt, but they've done a great job picking it up. And I'm excited to watch them do it.
Have you talked with, I know that you guys are going through some workouts right now and getting to know your kids. I'm interested in kind of your overall takeaways from getting to know these guys, getting to know your new players, as far as, do you have a feeling quite yet on what you guys are going to hang your hat on, what this Midland Bulldogs team is going to be all about?
I think we have to hang our hat on just kind of like playing hard, doing our job, taking care of the football, and all those cliche things that are cliche because they're true. But as far as identity, what I want to see from this group of guys, and where I think we're headed, and they've done a great job, is just a group of guys that minimizes distractions, that enjoys working, enjoys football is a training sport. It's a practice sport. You practice and play, 10 times more than you get to play. And so just seeing a team and a group of guys learn to love that, and then watching how the results will take care of themselves. But I've been more than pleased with just that they're ready to work. I actually told them this, generally speaking, a 17-year-old is a 17-year-old, no matter how you slice it. And so they're ready to work, and they've done everything that's been asked of them. And I'm really, really pleased with that and excited about what the future holds.
And finally, Coach Thad Fortune, the new head coach of the Midland Bulldogs, joined us here on Texas Football Today. I want to ask you about, I think there's going to be a lot written, a lot of ink spilled, whenever you guys take on Permian coming up here in district play when we roll around to it. I know you and Coach Ellison are close, obviously working together for a long time. Have you given any thought to what that game is going to be like, what that experience is going to be like?
Oh, I haven't. Yeah, I know I will. Right now I'm drinking from a fire hose, in different regards. But that's there. And right now Permian's tremendously talented and got a lot of great players, and it's a great staff. Coach Ellison's a good friend of mine, and he stepped in 3 years ago and has just won 3 district titles in a row. So all the credit to him. It's going to be. They're going to be a tough test for anybody next year, because when you take a program with that kind of tradition, and right now the players they have and the continuity and on the staff that they have, it's going to be a tough matchup for whoever lines up against the Mojo. But obviously that place means a lot to me. Ton of respect for Jeff and just everybody involved in that program. It's a first class place.
He's Thad Fortune. He's the new head coach of the Midland Bulldogs. Coach, congratulations again on the new gig. We're really excited to see what you do with the Bulldogs, and best luck in the spring and going forward.
Hey, appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. There he goes, Thad Fortune, the head coach, the Midland Bulldogs, joined us here on Texas Football Today. You don't always see, and especially in a conference, it's the Little Southwest Conference, in a district like that, where it is so. There's such historic rivals, and there's such they all know each other so well, and those programs are so tightly knit.
Oh yeah.
That you don't always see
guys want to step into
guys
the fire
going across across
the street,
going over to the other side of the tracks. You know what I mean? And yeah, look, would it be a bigger deal if he went from Permian to like Midland Legacy? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. You know what I mean? But at the same time, Midland, for a long, long time, I think people forget that for a long time, Midland was the power program out there in the Permian Basin. I mean, they were a team that was to be reckoned with. And, look, they've fallen on they've fallen on some hard times recently. But, I mean, you go back to the Craig Yenzer years and stuff like that. I mean, this is a team that was really good in the early part of the 2000s. A real dominant force out there, and it ain't an issue. They're gonna be in the hunt, and Permian's kind of grabbed that district. I think because San Angelo Central, although the whole realignment thing is a different thing, but like San Angelo Central has kind of come back to the pack a little bit. It was them for a while. Then Permian has kind of stepped up and I think become the dominant program, or at least the program of record out there in the district. But it's always going to be very interesting to watch how the dynamics of that district go, because they all know each other so well. Right. And they all know what their tendencies are. And so when you take a guy who is running an exceptional offense there at Permian, right, and you transplant him over to another team in that own district, how does that affect the dynamics? Right. And that's something that's going to be very interesting to keep an eye on in District 2 6A going forward. That, Thad Fortune has obviously had tremendous success running an offense in that district. Can he transplant that to Midland, and how quickly? And if he does the balance of power shift a little bit there in Little Southwest?
I kind of liked how it was almost they want to be the crazy guy in the fight. It's like,
hey,
look, we haven't been to that standard in this program. I've been on the other side of this. Yeah. He goes, we just need to have an identity about us. And I think that is the exact right thing to go in with it is, just go in there and cause chaos your first year.
He's so right about how, and one of the reasons I like covering high school football is he's so right that there's people who would rather fail conventionally than succeed unconventionally. Soapbox here. I think it's ridiculous that Kansas is not running the triple option. That's a perfect example, okay? Like, you're at a talent disadvantage. You're at a recruiting disadvantage. You are down in the dumps. You're one of the worst. You're probably the worst Power 5 program in the country. Run the stinking triple option. It'll work.
Yep.
But they don't want to fail. They don't want to they'd rather fail conventionally than succeed unconventionally.
Right.
And I think he's so right about that. And one thing I like about high school football is because there is a little bit more need for experimentation, a need for creativity, and
you don't get to recruit players. I mean,
right.
Theoretically, you have to work with what you're given.
You work with what you got.
So
if that means you're running the slot T, or that means you're running the wing T, you're running the veer, you're running these offenses that you don't see at any other levels.
Yeah.
I think he's so right. And you talk to some people, especially you get deep in the playoffs, and you got teams that are running wacky offenses.
Yeah.
Wacky offenses. I say that as if it's I think people know how I feel about those offenses.
Yes.
You run these unconventional offenses.
People don't know how to handle
People
them.
hate it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fun. It's a chore.
Yep.
And I've long thought that, like, one of the easy ways that I get my brain around thinking about sports is, what does the other team not want you to do?
Exactly. And especially when you get into playoffs like that, because you've got 1 week to prepare for an offense that you've never seen before, most likely.
And you talk with coaches and who are preparing for stuff like that, and they'll tell you, look, especially you get in a 1 week situation like that.
Yeah.
And you've got to find a way to stop this offense that's running at a high octane, at a high level. The worst part is you don't know how to, you will not see it until you get on the field.
You'd almost have more of a flying chance going against an unbelievably good spread offense, just because you've seen it before. You know what to expect.
And there are rules that you have in your head to do that. That's what I appreciate about a guy like Thad Fortune, who's like, look, we're going to do what we do.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a little different, but we're going to win. And I think he's right.
Matters.
It worked at Permian. I tend to think it's going to work in Midland. Anyway, appreciate Coach Thad Fortune hopping on with us. And now we go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Hideki Matsuyama won the Masters. I'm sorry, final thoughts.
Two things here. One, went to the Rangers game on Friday, and I really liked
Saw
the
no-hitter.
Yeah, okay, first off, yes, it was the first no-hitter in Padres history.
Very envious. I'm a big baseball fan, and I've never seen a no-hitter.
Yeah, that's what Goof and I went, and that's what we were talking about. We were like, I mean, we clapped for him. I'm not gonna lie.
Should.
It was so cool to witness that, because I never thought I would see, as a casual baseball fan, I never thought I would see a no-hitter in person. So that was awesome.
You like the barn?
Yeah, I really did, actually. It was we didn't have the roof open because Friday night there was the chance of rain and all that stuff. But no, I mean, it was super easy to get in and out of. You were able to scan the thing right on your phone. It was really nice. The restrooms were well placed. They have a ton of grab and go options when it comes to beverages or food or anything.
I hope they keep
like
that around.
Oh, it was awesome.
I hope they keep that around even post pandemic.
Yeah, it was.
I think that's
really,
a pandemic safety issue. It's they don't want people standing in lines and stuff. But yeah.
But yeah, they had like where our section was out in the outfield, but it was on the second little level right there. Great seats, but they even they just had fridges, it would look like a convenience store. You walk up and get that stuff. So yeah, super nice. I didn't get to walk a ton around because Goof has a broken ankle, so we weren't moving a whole lot. But from what we did see, really liked it.
I told him he's got to get off that N1 mixtape tour.
Yeah.
Told him.
Yeah, he messed up. And then the other thing, if we want to show this picture here, because we have
one more thing. For those who don't know, we've mentioned this on the air, but the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Family has a new addition. You remember our operations guru, Kendall Point, we've mentioned a couple of times that she's with child, and now she is with child.
Yes.
There we go. Harper May Point,
adorable.
Born yesterday.
Oh gosh.
Throw it back up. Born yesterday. Throw it back up there. 7 pounds 6 ounces, 20 and a half inches. Love the measurables.
Yes.
Love the measurables. Good measurables.
We got a little athlete.
Yeah, exactly.
Joining
feeling really good
Dave
about that.
Campbell's crew.
But congratulations to our friend and colleague Kendall and her husband Chandler, who became parents yesterday. Little Harper May Point. Congratulations
Adorable.
To them.
Congratulations.
A fun new addition to the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Family. So we're thrilled for them. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending I mean, give the people what they want. That's gonna do it for us.
Cover your
Thanks for
face up
spending
with
a little bit
adorable
of your day
Harper.
with us. Remember, no show tomorrow, but we will be back on Wednesday. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to new Midland coach Thad Fortune for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please be our Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you Wednesday. No show tomorrow. See you Wednesday on Texas Football Today.